Thousands of migrants have flooded the northwest of England and are destroying communities like Runcorn. Well, I thought I'd get out and about in Runcorn and start looking at what is going on here. And I have to say, it's a remarkably sorry tale. A tale of people losing their jobs, a tale of poverty, a tale of poor housing, a tale of bad schooling, a tale of a political class that has completely ignored ordinary people who built this country and have now accused them of being far right. Didn't accuse them of being far right, by the way, when it was this lot who ran up the beaches of Normandy to try and save Europe from itself. Hello everyone, this is Andre Walker. Thanks so much for watching this video. Please do subscribe, but more importantly, hit the bell notification icon. It's the best way to absolutely guarantee you get all of my videos as soon as they are released. Well, here we are. A little bit of Runcorn, right? Behind you, I don't know if you can see the bridge behind me, see some people in cars and whatever. But look, I've been talking to people for Talk TV about what's going on over here, and it's remarkable, isn't it, that when the level of immigration goes up, the level of poverty goes up as well. If you talk to the Treasury, what they're going to say to you is that well, GDP increases as a result of immigration. Well, that's not GDP overall. That's GDP overall rather than GDP per capita, because of course GDP per capita goes down. And that is something that we've got to really, really remember. Because, look, well, was Runcorn ever rich? No, it wasn't. But actually, what they've got is a hotel down the road, the Daresbury, which if you look on TripAdvisor, and in fact, I'll put the link in the description, you know, hundreds and hundreds of migrants live there. It's unlike a lot of hotels, it's still actually open to the public. And it's got sort of 2-star reviews simply because of the fact that people are still able to stay there and they think it's absolutely appalling. But those services that used to go to working class communities like this now are principally focused on migrants. And why is that? Well, it's because Britain and the rest of Europe are run by a politically correct class who don't like the people around here. I think personally that Reform's going to win this seat. Now, some of you like Reform and some of you don't, but you've still got to ask yourself, you know, what are we doing when a working class seat like this, the 50th safest Labour seat in the country, is now likely to go to Nigel Farage? Well, I'll tell you what's happened. They honestly want their country back. And I know that sounds like an unbelievably twee comment and a bit silly and perhaps a bit out of date these days, but you're walking power down here. I mean, let me just give you an example. Let's look at this, right? This is called the Churchill Mansions. Now, one would assume it's called the Churchill Mansions, here we go, because it was built after the Second World War for people who had lost their homes through the bombing of Liverpool. And so there is still a great sense of patriotism in these places. Now, OK, I do accept it's not the sort of patriotism that's particularly right-wing. I mean, if you think about it, Clem Attlee was a remarkable patriot. He believed in Britain, he was in the war cabinet, and he believed that things like the NHS were part of our national pride. But of course, what we have now is a group of people who believe thoroughly in internationalism. And I think also the other thing that I would make a point about Runcorn is that I think that we're going to see something slightly different. And loads of you in the comment section are going to say it's happened already. And that is this idea that we no longer have left versus right. What we have is patriots versus internationalists. Those people that believe in Britain, those people who believe in defence of our country, and those people who believe in destroying our country, who believe that every other country in the world is better. By the way, I've got to be honest with you, this feels like the streets of Philadelphia. Do you remember that song by Bruce Springsteen? Oh, I was bruised and bare, I couldn't tell what I felt. Anyway, and I think that that's got to be the new way that we look at things. I know that in the comment section people complain about all of this. But look, as far as I'm concerned now, when you've got the Daresbury Hotel full of migrants, when you've got services being full up, when you've got these reports that I've given you from Glasgow where, you know, there is now violence potentially coming about as a result of the number of illegal aliens that are being brought to these cities, you start saying to yourself, we've got to make a change here. Now, do I think the political parties that we have are perfect? No, I don't. But I have to say, I think that all of us, every single day, should be thinking about how we can make life better for ordinary working class people, because they have had it hard in this country. Now, many of you are slightly older, slightly richer, and therefore it doesn't necessarily affect you as much, but you've all got children, you've all got grandchildren, you've all got nieces and nephews who should be worried about all of this. And we are where we are. And I'll tell you where we are, right, because I'm going to give you a bit of a look round. We are here at the Runcorn Bridge. Look at this. Bit of a masterpiece. And actually, you know, people slag off the north of England and they slag off the poverty and they slag off all the rest of it. But actually, these are proud communities, and these are communities that have done a great deal more for Britain than Britain has done for them. And that is just a sad fact which relates to our political class. And I started this video by saying there were thousands and thousands and thousands of migrants who were benefiting from all of this. All these local hotels filled with migrants. These people can't get off their backside until there are genuine jobs. All these jobs being moved away. I don't agree with everything Donald Trump has done, but I have to say to you, if what you're going to do is decide that you're going to have tariffs in order to stop other countries having tariffs, i.e. you put them up when they put them up, I do agree with that, because I think that what we've got to do is stop this muggins attitude that we've always had, which is we're the dustbin of the world, we're the destination of the world, we're the place where everybody can leave their waifs and strays, sell stuff to us, and we never buy anything back. That's the problem that this country faces, and that's why you end up in a position where there's real poverty knocking about. It's not because people are lazy, and I think we need to get away from the whole lazy and feckless and stupid concept. But I'll tell you something else, finally. You know, I've been out and about, as I say, in Runcorn, and we'll do some more videos like this. I just wanted to give you a first one that just kind of gave you some idea. By the way, my twosie's in Gaza. I'm in Runcorn. Who's in more danger? We're yet to find out. But I wanted to do this first video just to give you a sense of the place. And really, the place it's really simple. When I was talking to people outside Wetherspoons, because during by-elections, I should say to you, I always go to the Wetherspoons simply because it's just a really, really good way of meeting people, because a lot of them are retired, they're having a drink, and they will chat to you. So I always get chucked out of Wetherspoons for trying to film in there. But anyway, chucked out of Wetherspoons, eh? But the sense I get for the place is it's extremely depressed, but there's still a real fighting spirit in this. And those of you who watch my programmes and say to me, well, there's no chance, you know, Britain is lost, England is gone, I'm not so sure that's right. I think that's the pessimistic attitude that the anti-patriots, the globalists want you to have. They want you to believe that we can't take our country back. They want you to believe it's all a waste of time. They want you to feel like you have to give up so we can be eradicated as a community. Our heritage can be destroyed. But I don't believe they're right. In fact, I believe that they are very, very, very wrong. And I think this by-election in Runcorn will certainly prove that. And when I say prove that, not necessarily because we know for a fact that Reform are going to win. It's actually because we know for a fact that Labour are being taken to task. I was in a taxi earlier with a driver who just said to me, I voted Labour all my life. I even voted Remain. And now I'm not voting Labour. Now, he wasn't voting Reform, but he wasn't voting Labour either. And I think that is a really, really significant thing that we've got to look at. So I'm out and about for this week. Here it is. By the way, it's absolutely lovely, the weather. And of course, the British coastal areas are all beautiful, even the ones that got a few dodgy buildings next to them, like Blackpool, Morecambe and Liverpool, although the centre of Liverpool's lovely. And anyway, I'm signing off. Until next time, goodbye.